In the ever-changing landscape of professional wrestling, championships can be won or lost at any given moment or time. And quite frankly, your boy is going to start doing this as a series, giving my thoughts as to who I think is going to be the next champion for each of the main roster titles, following every single WWE pay-per-view. But hey, if you like daily wrestling content, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, follow your boy because we got daily wrestling content, and don't forget to beat the socials as well. Twitch, the Discord, the main YouTube, and on Twitter as well. And let's get into it. Also, like I did say in yesterday's video, my bad if your boy is still sounds sick, because quite frankly, yeah, I still am. But we still making it daily wrestling content. But nevertheless, let's get right into it. Starting off with the undisputed WWE Universal or World title that it seems like we're no longer really acknowledging the Universal title things. I've heard a lot of people say that Cody Rhodes should be losing the Undisputed Championship to none other than The Rock. And all I have to say to that is, hell no. Please stop. We should not be having another part-time champion that goes off for God knows how long with a title. We just stopped with that. But nevertheless, who do I think should take the Undisputed title off of Cody Rhodes? Cody Rhodes has his upcoming match against Logan Paul, which I'll get a bit more onto that later, but we already know he's most likely going to retain it. And he's most likely going to be facing off against The Rock come SummerSlam. And I'm going to say this, Cody Rhodes should not lose the championship until, at the very earliest, WrestleMania. But who should he drop the title to? My pick is none other than the Ring General Gunther. I don't know if I said this the last time, it's been a minute since I've made the previous version of this video, but quite frankly, Cody Rhodes and Gunther, we've seen this match be teased in the past 2 Royal Rumbles. I would love to see this happen down the line, where in the end, the Ring General overcomes the American Nightmare, hopefully at the time the King General overcomes the American Nightmare, and we can really solidify a brand new top star in the form of Gunther, as opposed to having Roman Reigns lose his WrestleMania match against The Rock. So The Rock versus Cody could happen, when you should have that at SummerSlam, and then have the Bloodline stuff at Survivor Series, and then have The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. And mark my words, read my lips when I say this, without the title on the line, if that's not such a crazy, never heard before subject. Without the championship on the line. No titles involved in that match. Just straight up the Bloodline Civil War's culmination at WrestleMania. Meanwhile, Cody Rhodes can go ahead and have his feud against Gunther, as opposed to The Rock versus Cody, while Roman does some boring shit like fighting against Solo Sikoa. Not interested. Next up is none other than the world champion Damian Priest, and let me be real, it should be kind of dead obvious who's going to win this. It's going to be Drew. Drew and nobody else. Now, if you want my POV as to how this is going to happen, outside of it being obviously at Clash of the Castle, quite frankly, I see Damian Priest getting screwed over by the Judgment Day trying to interfere, and they ultimately completely botch it. And in the end, Drew McIntyre manages to win the world title off of Priest. Priest can go ahead and fully turn face, leave the Judgment Day, or the Judgment Day just breaks up, although I will say it does feel more likelier that the Judgment Day will just potentially excommunicate him, I'm not sure, or he just leave himself, while Drew goes on for his CM Punk feud. You know, I'm gonna say a little bit of fantasy predictions right now. I say keep the title on Drew until WrestleMania. Have Drew versus Punk at SummerSlam, where Drew squashes Punk, and then ultimately at WrestleMania, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, triple threat, maybe even Damian Priest if you want to toss him in, if he could go ahead and mesh well with them. I'm not sure. Triple threat, fatal 4-way, whatever you want. And you can have CM Punk win the world title then, if he seems viable to be the champion. Next on up is Sami Zayn and the Intercontinental Championship, which should be won by none other than Chad Gable. I see this being held off for a decent bit of time, while Chad Gable and the Alpha Academy undergo a lot of changes, ultimately ending with Chad either turning on the Alpha Academy or the Alpha Academy, leaving Chad Gable before he goes on and adopts the Creed brothers, where they can be like this modern generations version of Kurt Angle and the world's best tag team, but instead with Chad Gable and the Creed brothers. And then I could see Chad Gable going on. I'm not sure at Money in the Bank, if before Money in the Bank, if at Clash of the Castle or SummerSlam, one of those pay-per-views I could see Sami Zayn dropping the title. But if I was a betting man, I'd have to say Clash of the Castle, and Chad Gable takes that title off of him. Logan Paul, which is scheduled for a match against Cody Rhodes, and what I am hoping and praying, as you might have been able to see in my previous video a few days ago. Feel free to check that out, by the way. Yet again, we find ourselves right about to have a championship unification match between Logan Paul, the United States Champion, and Cody Rhodes, the undisputed WWE Champion. All I have to say for this is, why do we gotta keep unifying belts? Stop! Quite frankly, Logan Paul, if you couldn't tell my thoughts in that previous clip right there, by no means should he be losing that title to Cody Rhodes. It should not be a winner-takes-all, and a little bit more of some reasoning as to why I don't want that to happen. If I got fed up with the Judgment Day holding both tag titles, if I got fed up with Roman Reigns holding both titles, why then did you expect, or would you expect me to go ahead and cheer Cody Rhodes doing the exact same thing? Should keep his focus on that world title, or the undisputed title I should say, but nevertheless, hopefully Cody Rhodes is not the one to take the title off of Logan Paul. That being said, previously I stated that the one that should take the title off of Logan Paul should be none other than the megastar LA Knight, yeah. Which, I'll be real, I don't feel anymore. I'm not feeling it. Who I do feel like should take the title off of the Maverick, who I do feel like should take that championship off of Logan Paul, is none other than Carmelo Hayes. You can go ahead and have LA Knight be the man to win this year's Money in the Bank, like he should have won last year, but hey, you know what? It's somewhat working out for Priest, I suppose. And you can go ahead, have Logan Paul have a feud against Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo could win that title and keep it until next year, or maybe around WrestleMania or so. Maybe you can even have Trick Williams be the one to take the title off of Carmelo in their second ever match, their second ever one-on-one, I believe. I'm gonna cut myself off before I go on to some really deep fantasy booking into the future. But nevertheless, it should be Carmelo Hayes that takes the title off of Logan Paul, and let the megastar LA Knight deal with bigger fish to fry. If it could have been LA Knight, it should have been at WrestleMania. Waited too long. But nevertheless. Now this is a little bit more of a different answer, a difficult answer I should say, because who should take the title off of Bayley, the Women's WWE Championship? You know what? While it could be a Nia Jax, I'm leaning more towards Tiffany Stratton. Tiffy time should come soon. Whether that is by her just outright beating Bayley one-on-one, or by her winning the Money in the Bank contract, cashing in, and I want you to get close now. I want you to get close again. A couple months after winning the briefcase, stop having every single female Money in the Bank holder win it and then drop it immediately, cash it in immediately. The longest we've had someone hold that was Carmella, and that was when the briefcase was introduced. The second longest was Io, and she waited like a good few weeks, a week or two. Stop having them immediately cash in. Build Tiffany, or if you don't go with Tiffany, have somebody else go on to win that title off of her. Not off of her. Go on to have a good run with a Money in the Bank contract. For those that have been watching WWE for some time, if you remember how that Money in the Bank contract helped Seth Rollins elevate himself from the upper mid-card status, or that guy that left the Shield, to main eventer, do that with either Tiffany or whoever wins that Money in the Bank contract, instead of having them just rush to cash it in. Have that briefcase, Barbie up the briefcase if you give it to Tiffany. Make it pink, make it glittery, make it bedazzled, make it give some vibes of the Divas Championship. I don't know, do something with it, do something with her. Make people that aren't that used to Tiffany Stratton go, my god, she is a genuine threat to that main event scene, to Bayley, and if she won it, to the Women's World Champion. Speaking of, the man Becky Lynch, whom of which it's a kind of a no-duh answer. It should be Liv Morgan that takes the title off of her. The controversial take, I'ma say not until either Clash of the Castle or until Money in the Bank. You know what? I'm torn between Clash of the Castle or just saying screw it, give her the title at this up-and-coming King and Queen of the Ring. Because quite frankly, it's similar to what we were saying for Drew McIntyre when Punk comes back. I feel like holds true here. Whenever Rhea Ripley comes back, she's getting that championship back, unless you're somehow going to hold off until next year's WrestleMania. So maybe at this up-and-coming King and Queen of the Ring pay-per-view, you can have Liv Morgan win that title since she already has her match set, or you can hold off for a little bit. The Tag Team Champions of R-Truth and The Miz. I don't know off the top of my head a better choice other than the Creed brothers. And it should be around the time that Chad Gable goes ahead, replaces Alpha Academy with the Creed brothers, and thus you can have Chad Gable with the Intercontinental title, Creed brothers with the tag team titles, all decked out in gold, all Olympic level athletes, ready to show off, dominate their respective divisions, and I can't think of a better choice. Judgment Day already had their time to deal with the tag team titles. Truth be told, it does feel like there's a chance that they can go be their own individuals, go in their separate ways, maybe have Finn Balor with the feud against Damian Priest. And on top of that, that leaves JD alone and Dominic's still out injured. So again, it feels like there really is no better choice. And then we get to the WWE Tag Team Champions, A-Town Down Under. I'll be real, I feel the least strongest about this and the Women's Tag Team Championships. But if I had to go for anybody, DIY. Give DIY something. Let them go ahead and have a reign with the titles, please. Let DIY go ahead and start establishing themselves probably around SummerSlam or so, maybe even Money in the Bank. You can have A-Town Down Under feud with one another, have Austin Theory turn face, and let DIY start picking up some steam, some momentum, because right now they kind of are just dead in the water. Not helped by I'll be real, I'm kind of tired of the whole DIY cosplaying as DX gimmick. That leaves the last championships, the Women's Tag Team titles, currently held by the big, buff, black and beautiful duo of Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, and quite frankly, they should not take these tag titles off of them anytime soon. Keep the championships on them at the earliest until the Royal Rumble. At the latest, until after WrestleMania. After WrestleMania 41. You can go ahead, give Jade Cargill as much time as she needs to go ahead, cook, master her craft, so that by the time they do lose the tag team title, she's able to pop off as a singles competitor. And simultaneously, this does help Bianca further solidify her status as the EST. She's had a banger run with both sets of titles, the Women's World and WWE Championships. Let her go ahead and kill in the tag team division. On top of that, too, we could have ourselves a tag team title reign for the women's division that actually is very notable, rather than it happened and it ended and the team broke up, or it happened and it ended, the end. Let them hold the titles for a long time. Let them actually go wild with these titles. And if I were to have anybody win them, I have to say maybe The Way, Indy and Candice, Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. Maybe them, maybe. But hey, y'all let me know your thoughts down below. Who should take what titles and when, maybe, if you have that in mind. And as usual, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate every single one of y'all. And yeah, peace. See ya. We out. Bye.